All right, I'm going to just talk about Alan Watts and Thou Art That real quickly. Yeah, so I don't really have anything against Alan Watts. He's like a Western Buddhist. That's my take on him. I'm not totally unfamiliar with him. I've not really read much, just excerpts and things, online. I've seen some videos. So, to me, I don't. My reaction, mainly, it was that this was an answer to something about metaphysics. To me, it's kind of a dodge, and I just emphasized the things that I do differ with, someone like Alan Watts on. I think that I probably do differ. The thing is, I have a lot of ideas that are very much like Buddhism, and it's comical actually. I have many times online in real life had Buddhists ask me if I was Buddhist, even been mistaken for Buddhist, people that assume that didn't ask. And throughout that experience, I've learned some of the differences, and I think one of the quickest ways to describe the differences is that I'm kind of Western. I believe in progress, right? I have a different idea of what reincarnation would be like if it were true, and I'm definitely an atheist, as some Buddhists are, some aren't. Forget those details. I just mean on this, non-dualism and stuff, and on also, Buddhists tend to, Western ones rather, side on this metaphysical side, and I think really both. I don't know. I was just reading some quotes of Alan Watts while I was thinking about him and thinking what was really my video about. And, I think he gets a lot of this, the dualism. When you collapse something, when you unify it, often one of the two things is main and the other one is lesser. And like, take my case, I don't even want to collapse metaphysics and physics into one. I just want to say, throw away the metaphysics. But that's just a category, right? There's things in that category like spirituality, and everything in that category we should save and just study it in another discipline, I think. But there's things, more like metaphysics, like the dream world, or, thinking about this as important. I'm not into turning everything into mass and length and distance. I don't think science is going to do that. It gets more and more abstract, and it doesn't get more. We should be overthinking science is going to make things more concrete. It's like we just are going to get more and more surreal questions. But meanwhile, all the less surreal questions get really pretty good answers, right? So anyway, that's kind of the difference with the general Western take on Buddhism. In the case of Thou Art That, I think I really like you, but I consider that kind of a dodge, and I feel I understand your position, and that you tend to see that, like, which is a mainstream thing, that number or relation, that these things, that the works of Shakespeare, printed in 5 different times, obviously there has to be something between them. It can't be in any book because it's in all of them. Well, no, it's in all of them. You destroy all the books in every brain that ever read Shakespeare and it's gone. That dependency to me says something about it still actually being physical, Or some people would think that, there's not the arrangement doesn't matter. Arrangement is some sort of abstract thing. But no, you can measure it, and it's physical, and the difference between diamond and coal is physical, and it's nothing but arrangement differences in space and time. That's physical. But since you think that those things must be abstract, when you go from dualism to non-dualism, you're going to collapse them together, make it more thought-like the universe is more thought-like, because it has to be thought-like to get these thought-like truths, and thought-like truths in the dream can have a physical kind of, an apparent physical component, so there you have it, you got to go with the other side. But that's how I see taking the kind of position that you're taking. And I just don't think that it's necessary. I think neurochemistry and all the synthetic checkable truths like that provide plenty of awesome wondrousness, and it's all made out of the physical stuff that the world is, so there's no law. It's like Feynman, it's the one that explains this so well. There's no loss of beauty in the flower when you mentally are decomposing it and thinking about all of its parts, especially the flower's still there. This metaphor of reducing it in the lab when they actually reduce it, that's different than a flower that stays there and gets to keep being a flower, and in your mind you're reducing it. That just makes it more beautiful because you haven't reduced it, made it less. You haven't even reduced it in the sense of condensing it. You really just opened it up and seen all this, like the world of spheres, kind of the motion of everything. And so I don't mind that view, and I'm familiar with it, but I think that you're dodging understanding why I go with the physical side of it. So I thought that was a non sequitur reply, and I watched it, and that was really more than my views on Alan Watts. Now, it's still true that I could take him or leave him, because I don't like this cycle. Why would you can spiral in or you can spiral out. I mean, I believe in progress, but I don't believe in linear progress. I believe in a cyclic, iterative progress. So that's going to spiral in. You could spiral in or spiral out. But if you could be some guru, like regulating your own heart rate and go in a circle, why would you want to? That would be like fear of change, like everything in life is change. So we'll just go in a circle, then we can pretend we aren't changing. Just go ahead and change, It doesn't even have to be a spiral, It can be whatever shape. Try different shapes. I mean, the main thing comes down to this distinction between synthetic and analytic truths, and the fact that synthetic truths, you have to check your perceptions to see if they're true. And I think that everything comes from that. And what is your objection to that? You believe that the universe and nature is this wondrous thing, right? And it's got messages for us, spiritual messages. So what would be the problem with having to check with your perceptions in the world? And what else? That's all materialism and empiricism and perceptualism really means to me, is that the truths are all going to come from checking perceptions ultimately. There is no just sitting in a dark room. Like one of the quotes I read of Alan Watts was like, the only way to deal with change is to dive in and be a part of it. Okay. You can't just sit in a dark room and figure everything out. Why? Because of this, and I call that materialism. And like I've said before, it doesn't matter if it's really a dream or matrix or anything. I mean, materialism is really about facts that matter, and they have this consistency, and you can measure facts that are going to, you're selecting the facts to go in this by the ones that can be measured. So you take a measurement from reality, and it tells you a message. How is that not what you're going for? A measurement from reality, and it tells you a message. How is that not what you're going for?